All right. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. I'm sick, so if I start coughing, I don't think I have. Hello, how are you? This is my first heckle. I was like 5 seconds in. That's good. I don't think I have Ebola or anything. I tried to go to the doctor to get checked, and he's like, we don't do that at Planned Parenthood here. We don't have the equipment for it, so it's an STD joke. All right. It sucks being sick because that's all you can do. You can go to the doctor. You can look it up on WebMD. If you guys don't know what WebMD is, that's where you type in your symptoms, and it tells you what you have, and it also tells you like 20 other things that you could have that you get to be worried about now. Like my girlfriend was sick, so I type in her symptoms. It said like nausea, headache, tired feeling, and it says, oh, you have the flu. And I scroll down, or morning sickness. Like, oh, okay. Like, I don't even know what store to go to. Like, do I get Sudafed or I just pack a bunch of things so I can live on the run for the rest of my life? Like, I have a girlfriend now. I was single for a long time. Anybody single here? Single people? Nice. How many people that are single are not going to be single by the end of the night? That hurts. The one thing I didn't like about being single is talking to girls at bars, like hitting on girls. Mainly because I watch my friends and they just look ridiculous. They say the stupidest things. I have one friend, he always says the same things. He'll walk up to a girl and he'll say, do you model? Are you a model? You don't model? You should model. If you don't model, you should model. You model. Now he's just screaming the word model at a girl. Meanwhile, the girl he's talking to looks like Kathy Bates with spina bifida, so it's like, what's she gonna model for? Birth control and back fat? Sit down, you drunk bastard, you're embarrassing me. I have tried buying drinks for girls before. The last time I did it, the reason I do it now is because they tell me, they're like, you gotta buy girls drinks. You buy a girl a drink, she'll have sex with you. Like, she has to, it's a rule. I'm like, what rule book did you read that? There's no free will at all. Like, I put down a vodka soda and poof, the panties just are gone. Like, that is gonna happen? So I did it one time, and it was a group of girls, like 8 girls, and I'm pretty sure it was a bachelorette party. I think it was because they had like penises all over their clothing, and they were annoying, so that's how you know. And I go up to the bartender like a big shot, right? And I tell him, I want to buy a round of drinks for those girls over there, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. And he's like, well, how much money do you have? I said, I have $5. He said, I can do ice waters. I said, ring them up. And he did. He put 8 ice waters on a tray, and he put like limes and little umbrellas in him. And I walk over back to my table where my friend's at, and I say, hey, you want to see something hilarious? Because that's just about to happen right over there. And we see the bartender walk over, and he sets down the tray, and he points at me. And right away I knew it was a bad idea because these girls are too excited for the drink. Like, I don't think anybody's ever bought them a drink before. Like, they're jumping up and down, blowing me kisses, throwing their panties at me. I'm like, holy shit, it worked. And they all toast to me because I'm a great guy. And then they all take a drink. And then simultaneously, every single one of them spits out the drink, like aggressively onto each other, like across the table. And I saw that, and immediately I started laughing, because that shit was funny. And I look over at my friend, he's laughing. I look at the bartender, he's laughing. I look at the girls, and they're not laughing. They didn't think that was funny, even a little bit. And not only did they not think it was funny, but they started getting pissed off. Like, they started flipping me off, swearing at me, taking their panties back. It was a total 180. And I don't understand like why they were so upset, and eventually I'm like, I gotta figure this out. But I'm not gonna go over there. So I'm gonna send my friend over there, he's gonna ask them if they model, right? So he goes and he talks to them for 90 seconds and consecutively gets shut down by 8 girls individually, and then comes back and says, well, yeah, I guess the reason they were upset is because when they realized it was water, they thought you might be trying to drug them. Yeah, you guys may or may not know this, but that's not a thing, okay? Also, like, I was a little irritated that I got profiled as a sexual predator because I don't fit the mold of a sexual predator. Like, sexual predators, there's certain criteria. 1, they have mustaches, okay? And that's it. That's how you know. If they have a mustache, they are potential. But you know that. Where's the guy with the mustache? Ooh, I don't see him. Well, we'll talk after the show. But the thing is, you know that you have that. Like, everybody is aware of that rule, right? Okay, moving on. So, but these girls, secondly, not only did they profile me, but they profiled the waters. Like, they were fine when it was alcohol. They're like, well, why would anybody drug alcohol? Who would ruin 8 perfectly good alcohols? And then they realized it was water, and they lean into each other like, oh my God, I think this is one of those low-budget abductions you hear about in the news all the time. And then another girl stood up and was like, yeah, I read about that. No, you fucking didn't, because that doesn't exist. It's not a thing. Like, if I'm gonna, that's not, or I'm just saving money on the drinks, like that's where I'm cutting my overhead, is the alcohol. At that point, I might as well just be handing them pills. Just saying it's Tylenol. I was like, yeah, I don't want you girls getting headaches. You know, if you guys get woozy, you can lay down in the back of my van where it's safe. If I'm making them self-medicate in the back of my windowless in-transit sticker Econo line, then yeah, spit out the drinks. But that's the thing. I don't own an Econo line. I drive a 4-door sedan, ladies. So what am I gonna do with 8 passed-out women? Like, I can't accommodate that. I don't have the accoutrement to get. Like, I'd have to make like 3 trips, okay? And I'm guessing by the 2nd trip, it's gonna raise some suspicions where it warrants a phone call at least. So I get it, like, protect yourself. That's the moral of this story, is protect yourself, but for plausible scenarios. So if I'm backing into the parking lot with a flatbed truck and I send drinks over and then I'm just in the corner laughing, rocking a wheelbarrow back and forth, then yeah, spit them out, I get it. But I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I don't even own a wheelbarrow, so I don't know where they got that. Thought that would go better. That's all right. I moved recently. Well, no, all right. We'll just move on. I moved recently. Anybody else live in a place and then moved out of it and then lived in another place? A couple people. That's awesome. I actually lived, my last place I lived in a retirement community. And I knew it was a retirement community because they called me the day after I moved in and they said, hey, this is a retirement community. You're not supposed to live there. Like, you have to be 75 years or older to live there. And I'm like, well, I already live here. And they're like, well, there's a problem. There's a mix-up. Basically, they screwed up, and they offered me $2,500 to move out. And I was like, well, here's the thing. I do comedy every once in a while, and I don't know if you guys have ever watched America's Funniest Home Videos, but old people are hilarious. So I'm going to ride this out. Not only am I going to win $10,000 on America's Funniest Home Videos, but I'm not going to have to write a piece of material for the rest of my life, right? So I learned a couple things about myself living with 80 to 90-year-olds. One of the things I learned is that I don't really like hanging out with 80 or 90-year-olds very much. Mainly because they sucked at like stuff, like everything. And like, I get it that they're not going to be good at the things I like to do, like jogging or racial profiling, but they suck at the stuff they like to do too, like holding casual conversations. And like, when I'm around, that's all they wanted to do. And I remember when it was like 3 months in when I finally cracked, and like I was pulling into the parking lot and I see this old lady walking in and I decide I can't deal with it anymore. I can't have one more conversation with this old lady. All she wants to talk about is the weather and Arby's coupons, and I don't care. If I have to hear about the 5 for $5.95 deal one more, that was like 20 years ago. Nobody cares anymore. So I didn't want to go in right away and get stuck in the elevator with her, so I pretended like I was looking for something in my car. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. So it's just me staring into my empty trunk for like 20 minutes. And finally, I go inside, and I go around the corner, and the old lady's been holding the elevator door for me the whole time. The entire time. Like, the buzzer's going off, and like, she's not pressing the button, she's holding the door with her hand. So like, now her whole body's shaking from holding her arm up too long. I almost killed this old lady because I didn't want to talk to her, is what happened. Which is maybe the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. Because how do you explain that to the paramedics? They're like, what happened? I'm like, she was boring. I don't... And they write down, cause of death, poor conversational skills. I don't know, but... So I get on the elevator, and she says what floor, because she's going to press a button for me. And I say to her, 1. And she looks at the button, she looks back at me, and she says, there is no 5. She thought I said 5. 1 doesn't even look like a 5, first of all. 1 is like this. 5 is all over the place. Secondly, what kind of asshole am I? I'm just going to buildings telling old ladies to press buttons to floors that don't exist. So I say it to her again, as clear as I can make it. I say 1. And she says, oh, 1. You'll have to forgive me. I don't hear as well as I used to. When I was a young girl, that's when I could tell she was going in story mode, right? She says, when I was a young girl, I was the best hearer in my family. Seriously tells me a story about how she was the best hearer. That's not even a word. Let alone subject matter to construct your entire life story around, but she fucking does it anyway. So now I'm just standing there listening to this story, and the whole time I'm just staring at the buttons. Because at this point I can't press them myself, because like, what if she makes a move, right? It's like sticking my hand in a sewing machine with those bony old fingers just jabbing in and out of there, so I gotta wait. It takes 10 minutes to reach my floor, the first floor. And by that point, she's unconscious, I'm covered in blood, and I just... All right, that's it for me, thanks guys.